Plays dead? What's going on over
Yes.
there? Where's
Well,
Jeremy? That's the topic.
it
I
was.
mean, I'm here. I'm just waiting for whatever this is to be over with.
Let me carry on now. It was. It was about some people think everything's fake, and yeah, that's about it.
It's a vague. It's very vague.
Yeah, it was like that politics are fake, like the Trump thing. Everything's fake. This is fake. I mean, I understand. Like when you're powerless, then you're gonna say everything's fake. Or if you feel powerless, I get it.
It's fake.
Prove it.
What what exactly would prove it to you? If I show you someone wearing a mask and it's clearly not them, does that prove that it's fake?
Well, I mean, it would prove that situation was not the person. Yeah. I mean, showing anybody like the possibility like of what's possible is just to like sow doubt. It doesn't prove that the thing in question is fake.
Like, if we were to show you that Joe Biden is several different body doubles and not the same person, would that prove to you fakeness?
It would prove it could prove that that Joe Biden is a body double fake. That would just be a thing that stands on its own, though. You'd have to be like the accumulation of just the thing that's being proposed is that the entire world stage is actors fake brought in from their initial birth with Masonic documentations of special placement amongst the chosen people, corroborated by the Bible, and that they deserve to lie to all of us. So there have to be like
Wait. What
all
chosen
together.
people?
I don't know. I think Andy mentioned the Bible was chosen people. So
Andy?
when he was here, yeah, I think that was mentioned. I don't know if he was alluding to the
Andy's like a
chosen people.
Buddhist, though. I thought Andy Hold My Beer is always talking about Buddhism and Alan Watts.
Well, he's been talking. I don't know. He's saying that all the political stage is just theater, fake. It's all Masons, um, and none of it's real. He threw in the chosen
Yeah,
people thing. I don't know if he was talking about the Masons or the Jews. I don't know.
yeah, it seems to be that everything that happens has a lot of Masonic symbolism, or at least all the major events.
Yeah, it might be the case. Like, what's their symbol? A triangle,
No, they got all kinds of symbols.
like black and white. I mean, it's just these things are like so you know universal. They're everywhere. I'm looking at my truck. It's black and white. And I got the rims. They're five studded rim. It's in the shape of one, two, three, four, five triangles. So I mean, yeah, but no, I've seen some stuff that's pretty convincing. Like, you ever seen the one video where I mean I've seen it so long ago, I don't even know if I'd be able to like remember it. It was something about like the twin towers, and the Russia sends over the two little, or not too little, two large silver balls or something like that, and all the symbolism and the ancient history that's kind of like required to be known. And the Statue of Liberty gets brought into it. I can't remember that video, but that was the teardrop. That's right. It was like the teardrop, and then how that resembles Mercury. A whole bunch of stuff. Like a narrative can be painted so easy out of all sorts of stuff. Yeah, but I don't even. I'll drop that. But yeah, even though I'll fight like the one side to try to like give like a like devil's advocate for like one side versus the other side, I still do. Like, contrary to what Andy said, I still am skeptical on all these things, and I don't think I can prove any of them. That's why I don't.
Well, what
Well,
about the dollar bill for like a first one with all the symbolism and all?
how you can write? Yeah, you can write the
You
Masonic
can
star.
find you can find the Mason on the Latin words on the seal, the American seal.
Yeah,
Oh,
you ever seen how you can draw the Masonic star if you just connect the MASON on the dollar bill?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Okay.
that's not an accident. And then they have all these other small Masonic symbols like in the corners and stuff. And then even if you look at like the American seal, dude, like how it's symbolic, how you can the eagle, how many feathers it has, and the wings, how that matches like the moral and dogma cover. On one side it's 32, the other side is 33. It matches moral and dogma. I mean, the dollar bill is probably one of the greatest Masonic symbolism notes ever. Like, I could send you a video right now. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty evident. I mean, 33 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were all Freemasons. Like, from the inception of this country, they've kind of been the guys who run this place, if we're to believe, what we're told about the history.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree to that, and Andy had mentioned earlier about the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but I think there is a difference between the ideology and the people. Like if the I you know the ideology can live on without anybody even identifying as a Mason, in my opinion, and they can
What do
hold
you mean?
like
How do you have an ideology? How do you have an ideology without anyone holding that ideology?
no, they can hold the ideology. They just don't have to identify as a Mason. You can have all the
You're
attributes
saying like the
of it.
doctrines of Masonry taken out of Masonry and put into a new organization?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
That
Where
happens all the time. That's what Mormonism is. I mean, there's a lot of like branches off of Masonry that occurred in the past.
yeah, like
The
so what I'm like.
mafia, um, Mormonism. There's a bunch of examples, dude. I'm pretty sure even like, dude, there's so many examples, man.
Right, yeah. So I mean, what I'm putting out there is that there's these universal truths that can't be, he had mentioned the two-party system as if that's a bad thing. There can only be true or false. There can only be right or left. There is no middle. The middle would be a lie. Right? So like that ideology could carry on without having a name for it. It's just the universal truth of excluded middle. I don't know, like any culture, like the eagle, I guess, grasping I mean, like, if people hold that to be like meaningful because they've seen it somewhere in the past and it meant something, they might not even know what it represents, originally, but they'll still
I mean,
hold it.
meaningful. Definitely symbolic and meaningful. And they didn't do it for nothing. They didn't just randomly choose. Like they didn't do it arbitrarily.
No, I don't think they did. I'm just saying people can adopt that symbol and hold meaning to it, and it could even be somewhat close to the initial meaning, and it wouldn't be known, and they wouldn't even know why. Like people like the triangle. Like, they just love the triangle. The analytical truth of the 180 degrees and three straight perfect sides and the strength of the triangle. They just like it. It doesn't mean that Jeremy's an Egyptian. He might be. I don't know.
Oh, well, there is a pyramid. It's not just a triangle, it's a literal pyramid on the dollar bill. Or you could say it's an incomplete pyramid or whatever, but it's right there on the seal, the back side of the seal of America, which is funny because seals don't have a backside.
Jeremy's more gypsy than Egyptian.
I can see that. I can see that. I could picture him like, just he's got one knee propped up and he's getting the bets together, he's getting the boys together for the fights tonight, tipping the hat, all that good stuff.
Ah, tip of the hat.
Anyway, I think the Egyptian pyramid connection to the Masons is there's certain rites where they claim that the secrets that these certain rites hold go all the way back to certain cults in ancient Egypt. Or, yeah, that's what they claim. They claim they have 2,000, 3,000-year old secrets that they hold in their mystery religion school.
Yeah. Don't they say Pythagoras got initiated by the Egypts? And isn't Pythagoras a key figure in the Freemasonic doctrine?
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of different cults. Mystery religions was common in the old world or whatever. Basically, a religion where there's some sort of secret that the inner priesthood is holding from the layman or whatever. That was a very common practice. Uh, that's not a conspiracy. That's like publicly acknowledged. Essentially, Freemasonry is a mystery religion. It's a religion where the higher priesthood holds secrets from the lower priesthood or whatever.
Can you say the last sentence you just said? Can you say that again?
Yes. Speak directly into the recording, please.
Voice analysis begin.
Yeah, this is interesting. There's a post from 2020 um, from this guy, or Elon Musk. So this is from like 2020. Elon Musk asks, "What can't we predict?" And Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild responds, "The price of XRP after it gets backed by gold or will be part of the SDR." And then this guy comments and asks Grok, "Who is Nathaniel Rothschild for everyone to know?" Grok responds, "Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild is likely Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild, 5th Baron Rothschild, born in 71. He's a British financier, inherited the Rothschild banking family title after his father, Jacob's death in 2024. Known for his role in global finance, he's tied to the famous Rothschild dynasty." But I guess this guy asked Grok going back in time on the post. So I think I can think of or someone reading it. Interesting though. I don't know. You guys didn't sound like you were talking much, so I just figured I'd interject.
Is it on Twitter or X?
It's do you know Bull Runners is, and I think it's on X. Yeah, it's but it's this guy Bull Runners, who's a just like a crypto investor guy. Uh,
So
just an interesting thing about.
the SDR is a really big deal for the crypto world and for the banking world, currency world in general. They're trying to develop
Oh
like a
yeah,
digital SDR for
oh yeah.
UN.
No, they're gonna monetize everything, man.
Hey Noah,
Collateralize everything. Actually, that's what they're gonna do is collateralize everything.
hey Noah, ASIC want you to repeat that last thing you said about mystery religion.
That this is common. It's a common thing in the ancient world. That
Yeah, I think you said something about two levels of doctrine, like that the deeper ones won't tell their doctrines to the freshly initiated or something like that. Like you
that's
said, there are
yeah,
two levels of interpretation.
that's the general, like, I guess, layout of a mystery religion or general definition of a mystery religion is that there's essentially a priesthood who has a secret. They keep the secret to themselves. To become part of the priesthood, you need to become initiated. Um, that's basically the whole structure of a mystery religion. And then what you can do is you can layer it. You can have layers and layers of secrets and layers of initiations, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. I remember that correctly then, because this clearly reminded me of Pythagoreanism and Masonry as well, because they also kind of use a double symbolic and elusive language, where one is secret and reserved for the internal use, and the other kind of ambiguous and misleading would be addressed to the public. You know. So
Yeah,
also there, I identify
masonry
these two
is
levels there. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
masonry is the modern day's most successful mystery religion, or most well-known mainstream modern day mystery religion. Like, it's not new. They would call it like cult of Dionysus back in ancient, Greece or whatever. Maybe they had different secrets, but the layout of how the religion actually works or whatever it's termed a mystery religion. Yeah. Most cultures throughout all time have had these. It's also men find mysteries or secrets to be enticing. You can lead many men by promising them secret knowledge in return for favors.
No, go ahead and expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, man. Hey, yo, for those of you guys looking into the mystery stuff, have you guys heard of riddles and stone, like the mystery schools and stuff?
No, go ahead and expand a little bit on that.
Yeah, man. Riddles in Stone. It's like a little documentary about like the architecture in Washington D.C. and how it was written by a guy who it's interesting because his name's like who was it's Enfant, something Enfant, and it's crazy because like I don't know, you know how like all that stuff kind of gets in pretty disturbing pretty quick, or can anyway, and like but anyway, like because that name means like means child in French. It's like something l'enfant, and it's like if you notice, there's all these references. It's kind of weird, and they're all named Gores and all or named Daguerres and shit. But Riddles and Stone is a good one, and then check out Michael Tsarian, um, his stuff on the like the cult of Akhenaten, and like where it comes from, and like the idea of like Tut Moses, and like Moses was the Moses of the Bible, and like the Amen Ra is like Amen. When people say Amen, it's like there's so much cool stuff with it.
Amen Ra, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
So
say
like
also,
people believe. What's up?
in regards to you saying like it gets disturbing pretty quick, is that back in the day, disturbing shit was public. Uh, like people would kill children in the public square and shit like that, like and do sacrifices and rituals in the public. Ever
Well, I don't, I
since
don't,
the
I
world,
don't necessarily. Well, I don't think that they did it I definitely don't think they did it in public, man. I think good men have always despised that shit, and that's why it's occulted. Do you know what I mean?
no,
It's
there
like
was no. I'm telling you that it was public
no,
and
no, no.
that
People
there was
no, no. If
entire
you do it,
nations.
right. What I mean is, well, fair enough. If you went to war, you probably saw awful shit. But I mean, like, if the idea of like in your
No, I'm
general
not talking
community,
about war.
I get it, but I'm saying like they might have a public hanging for somebody who's like wrong with society, like who did somebody
No, they were
wrong or someone.
sacrificing children. They were sacrificing children in public,
I mean, I don't
like
know. I don't know about that.
for the general public to see. And ever since the world has become more civilized, essentially, these nations became civilized, and a lot of that had to do with becoming Christian or whatever. And there's going to cause everyone's going to start hating. But the world went from pagan to Christian, and the pagans they sacrificed children in public, literally, like historical documented fact, not conspiracy, not hidden. Now, these practices of these horrendous practices and stuff had to then become private. They had to become secret practices because the public, when it became Christian, was no longer okay with this type of thing, essentially. That's why many of the mystery religions nowadays become pretty horrendous pretty quickly. It's because it existed before, but they couldn't. They can't do it out in front of everyone. Now they have to keep it under the rug or whatever. So Satanism is a very big mystery religion. Why a lot of mystery religions dovetail into Satanism because they can't do what they do publicly.
Like a few hundred years ago, people were hanging people publicly and stuff, right?
Well, I'm talking about like a few thousand years ago. Like
Okay. Yeah,
maybe I mean
man.
the Vikings more recently. I mean, did some kind of ridiculous shit. I don't know about killing children. Yeah, they did. They had some ridiculous shit that they were doing. They were a pretty recent pagan. Like, most of the other places, paganism just went away a little later. I mean, even today, you can find people that eat each other on this tribe. There's man-eating cannibalistic tribes that still exist today, right now, literally. Like nobody contacts them because they eat people. I'll say you want to continue your
Well,
cannibalistic rituals. If you were in a
well, yeah,
society where it's
I
all
don't know
pagan,
if
they do it secretly.
I don't know if I accept your premise though that they were just like openly doing anything in the public square. I think like that gets
Dude,
to
there's
the argument that
bodies.
like hold on one sec though. Like it's the argument of like people innately have like a morality, right? Like if you will, like religion or something like that kind of codifies that. But like, there's like an innate morality. I just don't see people letting people kill
You're
children in the public square
you're
ever happening.
philosophizing and psychoanalyzing when there is literal historical documentation and bodies of children in burning pits that have been found archaeologically. So you can philosophize about how people would think about it morally or whatever, but the evidence is there. Men seen it, wrote it down. The actual things exist. You can dig them up, and you can even find modern world. You can go find like a tribe that's not been contacted, and they eat each other and shit, eat children, whatever. Like this is. I don't need to go into philosophy of how people feel. The evidence and the facts for this being the case are there.
Yeah, but it's like look at like let's say they found like a mass grave at like at the fucking Epstein Island, right, with a bunch of kids in it or some horrible shit like that, right? Would that mean that somebody in a thousand years from now could say that, oh, their society just allowed it and they just did it in the public square? Because I
Well, the
happen
thing
to
is,
think like
it
the idea
they
that there's like well, let me finish it out. And the idea that there's a cult thing or like an occult, like the idea is those things would have always been kind of tucked away and hidden and potentially always done even up until this day. But like to say that it would just be openly accepted in the public, I just have faith in humanity or mankind rather like that
yeah, but
they
they
wouldn't
write
have
this
put it
down.
that in the general public. I mean, like I'm sure that the mask, whatever it is you're referring to, they probably exist. I'm just saying that I don't know if it would have ever been something like that's why this occult shit existed or factions thereof took advantage of the system that good men made of because I think like innately mankind's gonna have a covert sense of whatever of how to move militarily that develops into like just an people who know shit versus people who don't
No, they
kind
had
of a
huge
world.
temples. They had
I don't
huge
know. I'm just
temples.
I'm
This was not a secret thing. There's literally written documents, historically written documents where the guy's like, I'm the scribe of the king. Let me write down what the king's up to. Oh, sacrificing like fucking
right.
10 people right
And
now.
how many
And
people
he's
read?
scribing it down. It's going down in the main temple of the main city. It's not going down somewhere
Do you
else. Like
think? Do you think it
I mean
was
it
intended for?
happens in
Hold on,
public.
real quick, brother, real quick. Do
I
you think when
mean,
those tablets were pulled?
They used to roll heads down like the pyramid steps. They used to
Yeah.
sacrifice people in Egypt. A lot of cultures, ancient cultures, did horrendous things publicly. There was no need to keep it secret because
Do you
there was
think that
no
the? Do you
moral
think that
code
the?
that went.
Yo, brother, can you have a conversation? Yo, like the idea, like, do you think that the scribe like intended that the general public was going to read those documents? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, the general public may not have been in on the know. Not that it
It
didn't
was
happen.
quite literally on a
If you're
temple in the
insistent
middle of
about
the
it, then
city.
whatever. I can't prove you wrong, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it existed like that.
All right, well, I think you're being unreasonable. You're not looking at the facts that these incidents took place were not private. They were public areas, and for the most part, actually like elevated areas that everyone else could definitely see and cause the most attention to be drawn to it. So like
So if you were in the crowd, if you were in that crowd, Noah, would you stand by and let that happen?
that's actually a really good question. Um, I don't think so, man. I don't know if I could watch someone get their head cut off like in front of me or whatever. I'd be like, listen, this is I don't want to be a part of this. But also nowadays, I guess they could also justify it, but their justifications became pretty wild. Like, oh yeah, this god of rain wants me to make it rain, so I have to kill this many people and stuff like that. So like, there's justification, I guess, in a way, so you could try to rationalize it to yourself. But yeah, I don't know. That's actually a really good question, Leflin, for everyone to contemplate.
See, also, I don't know if I necessarily believe that people were or like that the ancients were so naive as to be like, I pray to rain god. Da, 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 da. Like, I don't know if they were that retarded. Like, I don't know that. I mean, the evidence like leads to suggest that they had rituals, but I don't know how realistically they looked at like what we think of them as. What we think of them as is fucking caricatures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that necessarily was the case. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you got to be a bad motherfucker to go through the woods, live in it, and survive and track and stay alive. I just don't know, man. I don't think that they were like, I see rain cloud, pray to God, kill child. Duh, duh. Like, I just don't fucking, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we're related to monkeys either. You know what I mean? I don't think we like evolved from like this simple thinking. I don't know, man. I think men are smart enough to have created secret societies and be covert about war and have like, and then to be infiltrated by other covert fucking sick, people that maybe then fucking make the whole thing look horrible. It's like actually, it's just like how I feel about the fucking flat Earth and the America, that I love and fucking would die for. It's like, like I don't want to let a bunch of Nazis who faked landing on the moon like give people permission to burn down this fucking system of order and ecclesiastical beauty. You know, I just don't think people are that retarded. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. You take a look around. Who knows? But yeah, dude, Riddles and Stone and fucking like learning about like all these secret little cults and shit that are out there. It's interesting. But then you start to realize it's like, there's a cult of mechanics. People who understand how like, a drum break works. Like that's kind of all that it is. Like we're all in the flat earth cult. Globers and flat earthers alike, like the red house and the blue house. You know what I mean? We're in here discussing these conversations that half the fucking, if not more, people don't give a fuck about and couldn't comprehend and don't understand the vocabulary. You're in a cult like my buddy fucking Worms, fucking Chief Crow. But I do like to revisit like the secret society thing. I don't like to get lost in the sauce about all the horrific deeds though. But it is weird how like James Fontes, like that whole shit with the whole Pizzagate shit. Fucking like that's weird as fuck. Ian Carroll, did you guys see Ian Carroll and Joe Rogan and shit? That's fucking huge. Blasting out to like I don't even know how many people. What up, Left Lane?
What's up?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Yeah, working.
Nice, nice. Break 1-9 and shit, right? I'm gonna start revamping my argument that trucks don't go over the horizon.
Yeah, you need to just take it away. Don't even talk about it anymore.
Just saying, fuck boats. We're talking about trucks now. I could clearly zoom in and see the wheel well. you know.
You're running out in the desert. I've gotten some, paying attention to certain things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. Like how far away can you see a 80-foot long truck? And I know I can see them like at least 20 miles away in certain roads in certain position, running parallel to the interstate. I can see those trucks, and I know I'm 20 miles away because my GPS says I am. And yeah, I can still see a truck, the vehicle, the cab, and the bed. I can't tell maybe even what color it is exactly, but I can tell it's a truck. And then like going across the flat parts, like New Mexico, going into the mountains, or being in the mountains going into the flat parts. Lots of different, like seeing refraction coming off a mountain and seeing, the mountains loomed up on the, maybe 100-mile away. But as I go down into that flat, I can see that layer in the mornings. It's almost like a fog layer, but it's not. It's just kind of a dark band, like a blanket, translucent blanket. And as I go down, I see those mountains rise up like islands in the sky and pinch off and disappear. And then it looks normal again. It's pretty crazy looking stuff.
Are you talking more air pollution, or forgive me, I'm in like a little tied up. But are you talking
Well,
like the
it's
ground level or like air pollution shit? Forgive me.
well, it's just like when the sun comes up and heats that air up across that cool desert. It creates a pretty strong gradient, or inversion layer, I guess you'd call it, that causes some pretty freaking crazy refraction to
Oh
happen.
yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, I always was tripped out when you think you see water. Like, you know what I mean? When it's so hot and you can see like it just looks at the mirages that like come up in the road. Like you think you see something, and you're like, oh shit. Like that shit. Dude, optics are fucking wild, man. Like mirages are crazy. When you're driving and you think you see like almost like a puddle in the road. You ever see Phuket Words video on like all that shit?
Now there's one spot right after you come across the New Mexico line out of Arizona on I-10, headed east. There's a flat there. It's in Geronimo, I think's the name of the area. And in the monsoon season, it actually is a shallow lake. I mean, like a few thousand acres of shallow lake. But in the dry summer, it's bone dry. But you get down on the road and look at across there, and it looks like there's water in it. I mean, it looks like a huge lake, but it's dry.
Have you been to Hole in the Rock, left lane? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You did what, Bear?
Have you been to Hole in the Rock? The one that's like kind of near Sky Harbor Airport?
Well, I've been around Sky Harbor, but I'm not familiar with Hole in the Rock. Did you say?
I think they call it Hole in the Rock. It's like this kind of big hill with these big round rocks. It might be like 500 tall, maybe a little less. I don't know. But they got caves.
Well,
It's like caves in these rocks. You can see all the way
yeah.
through.
Now,
You ever seen that?
Texas Canyon, which is a little bit east of there, is it's gigantic, fucking like building size, solid pieces of granite rocks, and they're stacked one on top of the other, and some of them look like they shouldn't be there. You could just walk up and push it over, kind of thing. It's pretty crazy stuff.
I've never seen that. I just, I mean, obviously, I couldn't wheel up this thing, but I took a couple pictures of it. It's kind of neat that you could see through it. Just like it's in the middle of nothing else that's really similar. Let me see if I got these pictures I can share.
Yeah, there's several areas that have dissimilar rocks, like Picacho Peak. It's just a big, I don't know, probably 2,500 foot chunk of rock sticking out of the flat desert, and then of course the ridgeline's where all the copper is. And I've been up Highway 60, Apache Junction, Devil's Canyon, places like that. That's all very interesting stuff.
Yeah, I just posted it. You been there at this place? Now you sound like you didn't really know what I was talking about, but it sounds like you've been there though, huh?
Well, I might have been near it and just didn't realize, I was close. I hadn't heard of that particular rock.
Yeah, it's weird. My girlfriend said let's drive by there because I was flying home the other day and we had a couple hours to wait. So
Where'd you post it?
I hope I posted it in the right spot in audience text. Blue. I could go into a different one. What do you usually look at? The screen one? Oh, that's where everybody's at. All right, I'll post it here. There's somebody sitting all the way up top. It's funny. One person. But it just, it's like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like, how mountains look in Arizona? Kind of same way they look in, well, I don't know. Utah's got different red rocks, but, there's not a lot of, I don't know. Not a lot of smooth stuff.